Well, it's a couple days later. Not nearly as cold out. It actually says it's 60 in here, but I know it's like 40 outside. Insulation in this hangar is actually pretty good. But I'm going to go back and continue organizing more of this particular parts and kits, and then I'm going to go and work on all of these and try to make that a little better organized.
Here you see me going through and cleaning up all the stuff I had done previously with the hardware kit, and then just generally try to clean up my area, and of course get good music to listen to, because if you're going to be doing this, you might as well be listening to some good tunes. I talk about this later. One of the big problems I have is that I do not have an overabundance of horizontal shelving space, and so sometimes I just kind of have to invent a place for things to go, and sometimes that place I invent is the floor. This is a sub kit that I'm working on right now. There's several different sub kits that you're going to have to pick through. Go through and make sure, do a very good comparison of every single element in the sub kit and make sure that you count them. Sometimes it'll say there should be one, ABC item, but then sometimes it'll say there's one ABC, or it'll say there's 5 ABC items, or other times it'll say there's one ABC item, 5 per. And in both cases, there's 5 elements. So you just have to be careful and make sure you get all the pieces and parts that you're supposed to. I think for the most part, a lot of these pieces, they probably build these kits all the time, and so it's very simple. The thing I did notice on the checklist is that instead of having checks by each thing as they pack them, so there's like 2 underscores or underlines rather next to each item, and so instead of having like a check that they did it and then next to it where you would put your check to say you got it, there's just a check at the very top and then they draw a line all the way down the page. Well, that's how things get missed. If you want to miss things, that's how you do it. Put a check at the top of the page, draw a line down it, and make the assumption that everything was in there. And, well, I've proven that that's not the case, and I'll talk about that later. Here you see me working on the skins. Again, left and right, lots of different skins to go through. Mostly a pain because you got to crawl around the floor. And in all cases, I try to keep it so you can see the numbers easily.
So the second part of the inventory so far, so good. I still have quite a bit to go. I'm about half done. Been at it for a couple hours. Sorry if you're not able to see all of it. I'm kind of all over the place. One thing I would say is, first of all, you'll get groups of parts like this. This is actually not a sub-kit. There are several sub-kits. This one's not a sub-kit. This is just a group of like parts. And in this case, this is 11 left and right main ribs. And what you have to remember is the lefts face this way and the rights face this way. They're like mirrored parts. So here you have 2 parts. Well, they're mirrored left and right. And so there's a lot of that because obviously this is a synchronous aircraft. So you're going to have stuff on the left side of the plane, stuff on the right side of the plane, and the parts must mirror themselves. A lot of that. Interestingly, you also have parts that are identical and go on both sides identically. So, so far so good. Gonna get back to it.
There are probably a lot of different good methods for me to store these things. Here's me taking a phone call. I kept getting called while I was out there. But the thing I've done, and I know some people like try to keep all the parts in order by part number so they're easy to find, etc. I kind of did it by subkit, so I know where subkit 1 is, I know where subkit 2 is, and generally when you start working on things, they work in chunks, so if you're going to be working on the wing tank, well, that's all those big ribs that I'm handling there, so things like that. But not always, so really you could spend a lot of time organizing, or you could just make things easy to find and just, go back and look for them later.
So something I've noticed is that on my checklist, which I'm almost done with now, it says that I'm looking for stock code number W1006, center section left and right. And you look over here on the description, and it says wing spar, fuselage bulkhead, main spar left, main spar right. Well, that's obviously those and those. What they don't tell you, on here anyway, is, first of all, these don't actually have W1006 anywhere on any of the bags. But it's pretty dead obvious what they are. Instead, what they have is they have a number. In my case, it's 101391, and it's actually etched into the part too. That makes me think that that is a specific tracking number to this spar, which is kind of cool. So there's some, trying to take responsibility in the case that something goes wrong. They can actually track it back to this specific set of wings. That's my guess, anyways. Pretty cool. So almost done though. Little odds and ends left, and then I'll be finished for the day. I really want to start building. I cannot wait to get out here and start building, but it's already late, so that's not going to happen tonight. But gonna get this all done, and then I think next you're going to see me start working on the jig to allow me to build this stuff. This thing's going to have to be like way up here for the rear spar, or for these big spars, and hang. And that'll be interesting to build. So yeah, there I am. So far, nothing else has been missing. I do have these two little kits to go through, which is aileron trim and landing lights. Other than that, though, everything is here. So it's looking like, assuming that those are correct, the only thing that I am missing are, in fact, that one bag, I think it was 1177, of like 36 pop rivets. Out of a lot of stuff. Okay, that's not bad. So, cool. I'm stoked. Can't wait to get started. And I'll go around and kind of show you how I've got stuff positioned later. It's kind of all over the place.
Did I learn my lesson from last time about not jinxing myself? Why, no, I did not. I'll get to that in a minute. And I have already called Vans and requested a replacement for the pieces that were missing. And I will have a separate little teeny video showing all of that. They were very nice and generous, and they didn't even ask for any kind of proof or anything. They're like, yeah, okay, which is cool.
So what you just watched me do was go through the landing lights, the 1110 MR16 kit, and this bag 635, literally was just a bag of crap. I mean, it was just a lot of stuff, all just thrown in. Rivets, previously rivets are always in bags, nicely separated. Not here. Everything was just tossed in. Not impressed with that. Took a lot of time to go through and count everything. Good thing I did. They shorted me 5 screws. So something else to put on the list of things they did not give me correctly. They gave me 1. I'm supposed to have 6. So that'll be on the list of things that I request. Not real happy with that kit because it was just kind of thrown together. Not real impressed there. All right. Finally, onto the trim kit. Hopefully it's in better condition.
I can't stress this enough, guys. Count everything. I know you're thinking, but I really don't want to. Yeah, I really didn't want to either. Count everything. It's just in your best interest.
Okay, so after action review, I have gone through and done the entire inventory. Overall, everything was really good. Everything was packed very well. I've looked at everything. There's no scratches or blemishes or anything like that. Nothing is broken. I do have a couple pieces missing. I'm missing 5 screws from the landing light kit, and I'm missing a bag of rivets, pop rivets, from the main hardware kit. I also am missing this cover, but I'm not sure if they expected me to put these plans in this cover. I don't think so, because it wouldn't really, I don't know if it would fit. I'd have to relook at this. I think these little plastic things are short, but...
Yeah, actually, they intentionally do not send you another one of those. You're expected to put all of the future plans that you get into that same folder. And the reason my little plastic nibs that go on there are short is because I cut them. Don't do that. Instead, by the way, buying a new one of those costs $11 from Vans, or you can just go on Amazon and get a nice hardbound one for like $7 or $8 or something like that. I've got one of those on the way. So, yeah, they're not going to send you another one unless you pay for it.
I might be able to get him in there. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'm expected to put this in there. We'll see about that. But other than that, of the entire process, things that surprised me, even though I knew how long the wings were, those spars are enormous. And those fairings are just gigantic. And I've flown in this plane, right? So for whatever reason, I never put it together until I actually picked up the piece and was like, whoa. So that'll be cool. Looking forward to building it, that's for sure. Kits-wise, like the sub-kits, really, everything was, like I said, assembled well, clean, put together nicely, except for the landing light kit. I'm unimpressed with how it was put together. It was very slapdash, and it seemed like like I said, the baggie of bits and parts they just put handsfuls and tossed them in there, and so there was just crap everywhere. I took all the rivets out and I put them in the rivet buckets that I normally have. I really think they could have spent maybe a couple extra seconds and put those in a baggie of their own. Everything else, though, I mean, it just had every different kind of part all in one bag, and that's tacky. Other than that, and I'm really shocked about the missing screws and rivets. We'll see now what the process is for going through and finding that. They've actually got a form in the back here where you would file. This is a return form. I think I'm just going to call them and say, hey, you guys are, you owe me this stuff. And you know what? 5 screws and what was it? 32 rivets. What would that cost me if I had to buy them? $5? So I'm not terribly worried about that. All the major pieces are here. So pretty cool. It's late now. I really want to dig in. I've already started going over the plans and started reading and see what step 1 is. But of course, can't start working on it yet. Darn it. So that'll come probably this weekend before I can start working on that. I think I'm going to take all this home and see if I can put this in here and really start to read and dig in and figure it out. So anyways, there it was. I know this video wasn't really exciting. It won't get very exciting probably for a while, even while I'm building. I'll try to give you information and go over things as I do them. If you have questions, of course, please feel free to ask. I've already seen some questions roll in. I'm more than happy to answer them, and I'll do the best I can to give a good, honest answer, or at least how I see them. I know some things are probably going to require a more professional answer than I'm able to give. But hey, this is a learning thing for me, and hopefully a learning thing for you too. We'll do this together. If I can do it, you can. So right now I'm going to take you on a little tour to show you where I've put stuff. Not real impressive, so you can at least see how I've just got stuff thrown about for the time being. Here we go. All right, so if we walk back here, you can see I've got a bunch of the really long parts just leaning up against the wall. That's actually kind of a bad idea. If the hangar were open, a strong breeze could come in and blow all those all over the place. Possibly. Unlikely. I mean, I've had that thing open and I've had it blustering in here and I've not had anywhere the kind of wind some people warned me about. However, if a plane did go by and he turned around out there, that backblast would be huge. But it's really cold out there and that hangar's going to be staying closed for a while. So I'm not terribly worried about those. I will eventually lay them all down. But for now, I've got them leaned up until I get enough cardboard and stuff to put on the ground to protect them. Down over here, I've got, various skins. Here's a bunch of the front skins, and then underneath here, several more of the skins. And, just on the floor, for the time being, they're not actually directly on the floor. There's, cardboard underneath to protect it from the metal. For now, that's an okay way to store it. Again, I don't have a lot of horizontal storage space other than the floor, so that should be okay. And then if we walk back over here, I've got this shelving unit over here with a bunch of stuff on it. You can see that I've got my tools on the top one, and then a bunch of the ribs and various odds and things just stacked up in there for the time being. And then over here I've got a table, as you can see, with just a bunch of parts kind of neatly set out so that the part numbers are easily legible, easily readable, and I've got them set out so that this is kit 1, kit 2, 3, etc. So that I have subkit, so that I have an easy way to find them. And then over here against the wall, for the time being, I've got all my rivets in these little containers. These work really well. Generally, you don't need the bigger ones except for the 3.5, which you're going to have a lot of because that's the primary one in the skin. And for like the CS 4-4s or some of the other pop rivets, just because they're real long. So far, this has been ample. I may end up moving some of these baggies, use a magnet and stick, right here or something like that, just to get them out of the way. These boxes I definitely need to get out of the way because they're really in the way. The next thing I'd like to point out, and I'm not sure how well you can see it, they actually have this as an inventory item, is VB11 cutout. So they've just drawn on here with a marker on the lid of this box the cutout plan form for, I guess, a jig for holding the wings while you're working on them. And they're different. There's the one over there and there's this one over here. They're the same cutout, and they're just... That's really tacky. I'm not going to use those. I will make my own. And I'm disappointed with that too. I mean, it seems like they could have done a much nicer job there with the cutouts. I don't know what that would be. Maybe on the inside of the box. This seems very much like an afterthought. Like they forgot to do it. And they did it real quick, like just with a marker, real quick. And then that was it. These look like crap. So I'm disappointed with that too. So if I had two things to say I was disappointed with, it would be the VB11 cutouts, which don't match one another, are obviously really garbage, and the landing light kit, which was just slapdash. It's not bad. Other than that, everything's good. Well, that's it for this time. So I'm going to wrap this up and head out. I will be back again in a couple days to get in here and actually start working on the wings. Looking forward to it. Definitely looking forward to working with those suckers, those giant, giant things. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I'll keep you guys posted. My goal is to try to post like one video a week if possible. Sometimes that's not possible just due to life. But that's what my goal is. Hopefully. We'll see. Thanks, guys. See you next time.